Well, my name is David Chu. I've been an engineer for 20 years, working throughout the United States. Right now, I'm in Argentina because I want to develop and show to the world what is small-scale alcohol production. What we're talking about today is the use of alcohol as a fuel. Ethyl alcohol is the actual scientific name for what we're talking about. Biofuels is a generic term for ethanol or alcohol and biodiesel. Okay? Biodiesel is typically made from vegetable oil, used vegetable oil. Making alcohol is about taking things that have sugar and starch and to distill it into alcohol. In fact, alcohol is literally yeast poop. Plants, crops, what they do is they take sunshine and carbon dioxide with water through the process of photosynthesis creates sugars, or carbohydrates, I should say. We basically reverse engineer what Mother Nature is doing. We're going to take the sugar and the starch and convert it back to alcohol, which in its essence is the captured energy of the sun in liquid form. That's why alcohol is literally liquid sunshine. 100 years ago and more, farmers in Argentina, in Brazil, in Estados Unidos, in Europe, Germany, New Zealand, they all made alcohol on farms because alcohol is a fuel that you can use to cook with, to heat with, to run your tractors and cars on. And so Henry Ford's Model T car originally ran on alcohol only. John D. Rockefeller, he first started in the distillation of kerosene from petroleum. So what he would do at nighttime is flush this toxic waste into the rivers when nobody was around. Then he realized that he could actually use this toxic waste byproduct of his kerosene business in the internal combustion engine if it were modified slightly. Okay? And so Henry Ford actually did change the engine of his Model T car to run on both alcohol and gasoline. And so what we had almost 100 years ago was a flex fuel vehicle that took advantage of alcohol in terms of its higher compression and more miles or kilometers per liter. Because in America at that time, Rockefeller controlled the gasoline stations in the cities. But when you left the cities to go into rural areas, it was all the farmers selling their alcohol fuel. What Rockefeller did that people don't know is that in 1918, he decided that he was not going to have competition from these farmers. And what he did was he gave $4 million to a group of women called the Christian Temperance Movement. And so with $4 million, these women were able to petition Congress, the United States Congress, in 1918. And in 1919, Congress actually passed an amendment to the Constitution of the United States banning the drinking of alcohol as well as the production of alcohol. And it was actually the production of alcohol that was the real reason behind it all. We have this period called Prohibition where people in the United States could not drink or make alcohol. This lasted for about 14 years, and by that time, in 1933-34, there was no more competition to the gasoline business. So the history of alcohol and gasoline goes back over 100 years. Gasoline is the toxic waste of the petroleum industry. A barrel of petroleum that Chevron gets from Saudi Arabia, they distill it and refine it into plastics, fertilizers, linoleum, Vaseline. Those products are worth much more to the oil companies than the gasoline. At the end of the day, they dump around 400 of these very toxic byproducts of the distillation business into this reservoir, and they call it gasoline. And we pay for the privilege of burning the waste products, the toxic waste of the petroleum oil companies in our cars, and we breathe it. The oil companies love to promote biodiesel because they know that it's not a threat to them. Corn, which is one of the worst feedstocks to make alcohol,
on a hectare, you can make around 2,000 liters of alcohol per hectare, okay? This is one of the worst feedstocks to make alcohol. Biodiesel from soja, for example, on a hectare, you are only going to come up with about 320 liters of biodiesel, okay? 320 versus 2,000. There's a humongous difference, all right? And plus, biodiesel is actually not that clean. It's actually very dirty.
Just to kind of give you an idea, the operational cost of making alcohol is around a peso per liter off of it. Save the environment. It's 99% cleaner than gasoline, so it will clean up all the toxic fumes that makes the city look kind of brown, you know?
Alcohol is storable almost forever. There are bottles of gin from the Roman era that you can literally open and drink today. Gasoline and diesel do not store. After 6 months of storage, they go bad, especially with diesel. What most people don't realize is that you can run diesel engines on alcohol with some small modification. And in fact, if the diesel engine or the gasoline internal combustion engine is designed to run specifically on alcohol, you get 22% more kilometers per liter and 2 to 3 times more life of the engine. We are unaware, and yes.